Welcome to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and every week we bring you news and information you can use. And today we are all about the flooding and trying to help you recover. Last week we talked about flood insurance. This week we want to help you recover from the floods. If you've got a question, because we've got some great topics we're covering today, but if you've got a question, give us a call, 844-788-9444. We'll be happy to answer your real estate questions right here on the air, or any questions that you have from any of the guests that we're bringing on. Later in the show, we're going to have Mary Papa George to talk about a special loan that you can use if your home flooded and you're in the process of buying and selling a home. She's going to talk about that. In this segment, we are talking with Lisa Giesler from A Time and Place for Everything. She's a professional organizer. She's been on the show before. She's also a speaker and an author. She's got 3 books out. Uncluttered is her most recent book. And Lisa, as a professional organizer, she understands that feeling you have of just overwhelming, not knowing where to even begin your project once you've had such a catastrophe like your house flooding. So that's what Lisa's talking about today. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited this morning. Had my coffee, so it's good.
So Lisa, you help people through problems all the time. Any kind of problem. You helped me move my whole house. So, you're a professional mover and you helped me reorganize my whole house once I moved in. So, you do lots of things. But one thing that you do is organize projects.
Exactly.
And when it's one thing to organize a project and be able to plan ahead and know it's coming. But when something happens and all of a sudden you've got a plan for something you didn't expect, not financially, not emotionally, this is a big undertaking.
It absolutely is. A lot of times it's getting past the shock that it has just occurred to you, and you want to make those quick decisions, but sometimes you have to pull back for just a second and say, okay, what do we need to do?
Mm-hmm. So what's the first thing you do? If you had to evacuate your house, which many people had to do, when you get back, what's the first step?
What the first step is obviously you're contacting your insurance company. Unfortunately, some people didn't. But a lot of times it's just looking at that saying, you gotta get it cleaned up. You've got to get the wet stuff out of there. There's plenty of things that need to be taken care of as far as cleanup crews that help you tear things out and the construction. But very first is you've got to get the wet stuff out.
So a lot of things, luckily people knew it was storming. They had time to move a lot of paper and that kind of stuff. Hopefully they moved all their sentimental stuff. But when it comes down to deciding whether you keep the furniture or not, how do you know what to keep and what not to keep?
Well, actually, that's pretty easy in a way. Obviously, if something was cloth, leather, unfortunately, they cannot be restored. Particle board furniture cannot be restored. But things that were solid wood, if you take them out quick enough to get them dry, there's a possibility that kind of furniture can be restored. So that's pretty much your rule on the furniture.
Okay. All right. Carpet, obviously gone.
Absolutely.
Hardwood floors, they're buckling. They're looking rough. Tile?
You actually can keep your tile. The thing is, what has happened in certain situations like that, there are companies that can go in there and clean the tile professionally to get into the grout to make sure there's no mold building up on it. But some people also will look at that as an opportunity to say, you know what, let's just redo this.
Time for an update. Okay, do you think people should stay in their house while they're having it remodeled?
No. I would definitely say, if you can, to get out of the house. There's too much stress going on. You need to have the opportunity to be away from it. If you keep looking at it all the time, the anxiety is building. You need to set yourself apart from it for a little while.
Okay, so how do you choose who's going to come in and do all this stuff? You've got to do demolition. You've got to do rebuild, remodel. You got to have movers come in and just move your stuff out.
Exactly.
It's a lot to figure out who you're going to choose for these things. How do you pick the right people?
The way you would pick the right people, because there's so many different ones that have to be chosen, is basically you're going to get a notebook out. You have to get a notebook out and do a Google search. Do a Google search. You're also going to possibly do friends and referrals. But don't take that very first person necessarily. You want to go online and make sure, do a review on them. The Better Business Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce. You definitely want to make sure that they have a good reputation.
And I know that you go in and project manage for people, but they don't have to hire a professional necessarily, or it could be their general contractor that they hire to do it, to oversee everything, or it could be a a relative
Exactly.
that they trust that has some ability to do
Exactly.
it. But if they do need a professional, they can call someone like you to professionally oversee it so that they can go back to work, so that they can go take care of their family and do the things they need to do. And especially for someone who's moved here, like relocated with a job, and they have a family and they've got a job, they don't have anybody they can call and trust with their house. So it's good to have a professional that you can call.
Absolutely. It really is. It also goes into the thing of, talking to your neighbors and, even moving forward in life. I find that things like this will cause people to come together and how you can help one another during this time.
If they need a checklist, is there somewhere to go to get like a checklist, or do you just have to sit down and think it through step by step and come up with a checklist of exactly what they need to do?
One thing is, obviously, it is sitting back thinking about the whole big picture, like event planning. That's where an organizer can help. That's where a general contractor can help, because they're going to think of things, those little bitty things that you're not necessarily thinking about. So even if they didn't want to hire someone to totally oversee the project, it is worth their while to call up and get a consultation for someone to at least guide them on first, second, and third that needs to be taken care of.
And I know you have been a great resource for me through the years that we've known each other. You're giving away free consultations right now to people who need your help.
Absolutely. Because right now my heart is everybody's overwhelmed. And what can I do to just say, here's your guide that you can go ahead and get started, and just, comforting people, just saying, hey, look, this is what you need to be taken care of right now. Because right now, everything is running in your head and you're just grabbing at everything. And you need to be a little bit more concise right now, because time is of the essence when water has occurred.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the 3 books that you've put out there. What are your 3 books? Tell us a little bit about each one.
The very, very first book has been quite a long ago, and it was just organizing paperwork, and it was about checklists. The second book, My Life is a Mess, Organizing 101, it won an award on time management. It is basically on just general organizing tips, but also time management as well, paperwork as well. And the third book, which is my favorite, is Uncluttered, Discovering Strength and Purpose in the Chaos of Life. That's a little bit more about what's going on the inside as well. It's how our surroundings are affected by what's going on in the inside. And so I really love that. That's my passion right now.
And this time, kind of when people are in crisis mode, is really a time that they need to just remember to get the rest that they need and eat well, because a lot of them are eating fast food. Their kitchen was messed up, and so now they're eating fast food. You gotta eat well, you gotta exercise, you gotta rest,
absolutely,
so that you can do all the things that you need to do.
Absolutely, and that's the importance of getting away a little bit. Find a quiet restaurant where you and your significant other can just sit down, talk through it. You're going to have menu plans of the proper type of quick foods that you're carrying with you, whether it's trail mix bars and water. It seems simple, but it is a big thing. It's going to be your energy and your strength. And it's making sure, you have a computer, you have access to the internet, so you're doing all those background checks. And then have somebody you can bounce ideas off of. And you want to do it with somebody who's got some skills and experience in the matter. Everybody and their brother is going to step out of the corners and tell you what needs to be done. Just relax when you're feeling overwhelmed.
And the general contractor is great. And that's a great resource to put everything on for him to take care of everything. But you've got to make sure he has the ability to do it.
Absolutely.
You've got to make sure he's not overwhelmed with too many projects that he's not going to be able to manage it.
Absolutely. I know the insurance companies and stuff will send people out to help you as well. In the same situation, they're going to send people out, and that's good, that's important, but make sure you're still doing your homework on all the different companies, because they're going to be crawling out of the woodwork.
Yeah. How can people find you online?
They can find me online by going to lisagiesler.com. I'm on Facebook as a time and place, Twitter as Lisa Giesler, LinkedIn.
And spell your last name.
Gies as in Sam, Ler.
All right, lisagiesler.com. She's a professional organizer. She's a great speaker, professional organizer, and author of 3 books. And she's giving away free consultations. If you need some help, go check her out online at lisagiesler.com. If you've got a question, give us a call, 844-788-9444. And you can find all of our videos from the past 4 years that we've been on the air at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. Lots and lots and lots of resources for you out there. And of course, course, if you need help moving things out of your home, you can call Zippy Shell. Our friends over there at Zippy Shell will help you out getting everything out of your home into a safe, dry place. We appreciate you listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. We'll be right back.